Hiya, welcome back to the south of France. Today, I'm on the Promenade des Anglais in Nice, and for good reason, because I'm going to check out the amazing new dog beach that's opened here. And I'm also going to look at how Nice is going to be staging the first ever gay pride style dog pride. We're also going to look at the unbelievable explosion of Bougainvillea in Villefranche, and I'm going to be looking at whether France is going to impose quarantine on UK travellers in the next few days, and if they do, what this will mean for you. Don't go anywhere. I mean, you wouldn't, would you? I know that. So I've come down onto the beach, more or less just opposite the hospital, because I think this is where the beach, the dog beach is. I should give a quick shout out to the wonderful Jilly Bennett, who tipped me off about this beach, because this last week I was in Monaco interviewing her, because she's a fantastic dog photographer and specialises in doing dogs and people and all along the sort of French Riviera, Italian Riviera. And we've a special coming up about Jilly, all about Jilly, next week. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss out. But anyway, Jilly said that they've put a new dog beach here, and that it's got these amazing sculptures. And I think, looking at this, I think this is one of them. Let me just take you around here, and can we see him? There he is, look. This side it says chien interdit. Do you hear that? My French is improving. That means dogs forbidden. And on this side, look, it says chien autorisé. That means dogs allowed. Could be a band, that, couldn't it? Like girls allowed, dogs allowed. I quite like it. But can you see him up there? Isn't he cute? Let me see if I can get him in the background. Oh, he's so lovely. There he is. So basically what this means is that you can come down here, you can sunbathe, you can have a picnic, you can spend your day here, but you can bring your dog, and your dog can swim, and your dog can join in. Now, if you know anything about France, they're quite keen on dogs. There's about 7 of these dog beaches right along this coast. Villefranche has got one right at the far end. So it's a very dog-friendly place. But France is a very dog-friendly country. You can take your dog into a restaurant. We took Halloween out to Acciado last night, where she bit everyone. Our Chihuahua is very vicious. If you come close to us, don't get near to the Chihuahua. She's very dangerous. She's a bitch. But we took Halloween to the restaurant. You can take Halloween on the train. You can take her on the bus. You can take her in shops if you pick her up. And you can still, amazingly, take your dog on Air France. Yeah, I mean, not if it's a, probably an Alsatian. That's a bit big, but a little dog. You can put it in a little pouch, little Hermes pouchette if you go shopping on Montemille Market and get a knockoff version. Anyway, let's have a scoot round the dog beach and see what's happening. talking to the lady there, and she was explaining that despite the fact there's been quite a lot of green space in Nice, what there isn't is anywhere where you can actually let your dog off the leash. And so if you've got a big dog, and there are some big dogs down here, that furry one, my goodness, you just simply can't tire them out without buying a sort of dog treadmill, I guess, or a peloton for dogs, which I think probably somebody will be coming up with quite soon. So this is a fantastic addition. The dogs can run free and they can have a wild time. There's even, how cute is this, a little dog shower so that your pet can have a, you know, a desanding before you take it home, because there's nothing worse than sanding your paws and that, is there? Special sign, and it's written in English as well as French, that tells you the rules of the dog-friendly beach. It says, welcome to our dog-friendly beach. Dogs are allowed on the beach and in the water under the strict supervision and responsibility of their owners. Guard and protection dogs like Staffordshire Terriers, Tozers and Rottweilers must be muzzled and kept on a lead, and Halloween our Chihuahua. Fighting dogs such as pit bulls, boer bulls are not permitted on the site. Owners must clean up after their dogs or they will be subject to a penalty. No poopy parties. Please use the dog bag dispensers and bins provided. But this is the bit I love most. It says, be aware that your dog's skin is sensitive. Avoid prolonged exposure to the sun. Hot stones can cause burns or sores to their paw pads. So don't forget, if you come down the doggy beach, bring your doggy suntan lotion. I wonder if anybody's come up with that. What would we call it? That gives you pause for thought, doesn't it? Pause for thought. It was a sort of joke that I buggered up because I swallowed the word. I mean, it wasn't a great joke anyway. But if you had dog suntan lotion, what would you call it? You know what vloggers say? They say leave me a comment below. But if you've got a particularly good idea of what to call dog suntan lotion, then do comment. By the way, thanks for all your comments about the channel name. Some favoured sticking with the present one, some thought it was a good idea to change. So you know what I've done? Nothing. But I'm still thinking about it. I promise. Anyway, that's the brand new dog beach in Nice. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It's so cute, it's such a great idea. You can't believe that it's taken so long for them to think of it, but there are lots of other dog beaches all along this coast. But now, if you come to Nice with your favourite pooch, there's a dog beach for you. What fun we can have. Now, if you've ever been to Villefranche in May or June and you've been lucky enough to catch the Bougainvillea when it really flowers, you'll know what I'm talking about in this next feature, because it really is spectacular. In fact, it's so spectacular that last year I made a video about it, about just how lovely it is, but also about the cross-dressing woman who introduced Bougainvillea to the south of France. It's this video, it's on the screen now, so do check it out. But anyway, today I thought I'd do what TF1, which is a TV channel here in France, does every year. When they invariably come to Villefranche, probably they'll do it next week, and film the Bougainvillea and put some lovely music to it. So I thought I'd get there first, you know? Might get more viewing figures than that. So anyway, here, for your delectation, is Villefranche in Bougainvillea season. So I hope that's put you in a suitably relaxed mood because, well, you know what's coming now. It's time for the... I know it just wouldn't be one of my vlogs if you didn't get your COVID-19 update. So what's happening here in French France? Well, good news still. Infection figures are still very low. In only one region of France, as far as I know, is the infection rate above 50 in 100,000. So that's very good. Slightly less good news that out of those low infection figures, the number of Delta variant, Indian scariant variant cases has now risen. Last week I think I told you it was about 2 to 4%, and it has now risen up to as high as 10%. Similarly, I think over the border in Italy, the number of Delta cases has risen. But overall, across the whole of the Schengen zone, by and large, the figures are very low. But, you knew there'd be a but, didn't you? Well, I talked to you last week about the possibility that France would introduce quarantine for UK travellers, given that Germany had done it, given that Italy has since done it. 5-day quarantine, that is. And of course, Mrs. Merkel brought up the issue in the middle of the week. Mr. Macron seemed to agree with her. There seemed to be an attempt at the EU Council meeting or the EU leaders meeting to try and reach some kind of 27 nation agreement. I never fancied they had much chance of that because I think throughout this they've never managed to have a total unanimity because there are so many competing things going on here. I mean, the Spanish tourist industry is on its knees. It represents a vast amount of their economy, etc. So they didn't agree on a unified stance, and I don't think they will. However, does that mean that if you're a UK traveller coming into here, you're going to escape quarantine? Well, right now, today, yes you are. Of course, I've recorded this vlog on the Saturday. It'll go out to you on the Sunday. So if things have changed, I'll try and put a graphic on. But that does not mean that France will not make that decision. Nor does it mean that France is completely relaxed about this situation. Far from it. They this week have put Russia on the red list. So they are changing things as they go, and you know, many Russians certainly come down to the south of France. Some Russians have still made it in. This epically big, I think £175 million super yacht has been in the bay most of the week, although it's disappeared this weekend because having had a very loud disco last night on board, it's disappeared because lots of small craft are here and they obviously don't want to be mixing with the hoi polloi. But this Russian gentleman on his super yacht has managed to make it in. So, is France likely to introduce quarantine? I have to say, I have a feeling they probably will. I think it will not necessarily stop you coming. It may only be a 5-day quarantine. There's been a lot of stuff in the British press about 14-day quarantine for British travellers. Well, that really is rubbish because there's never been a 14-day quarantine. Even if you're coming in from a red zone, it's not 14-day quarantine. No, actually, I think it is 14 days if you're coming in from India or something like that. But in the past, there's never been a 14-day. So I think at the most it'd be 10, but I think it's much more likely to be 5. Will it be policed? A lot of the French quarantine never has been. It's been up to you. And I think there's every chance that might be the option they take, which is a 5-day quarantine, self-policed. And obviously you're going to need your 2 COVID jabs and a test before you set off. But what is the prognosis going forward? What if you're thinking of coming here, say in September, October? Well, as in Britain, it is a race between the vaccine and the new Delta variant. There's no doubt about that. Given there's 10% of cases that are Delta here, I'd be surprised if it doesn't take hold in the same way as the Kent one did. They're doing their very best to try and restrict it to certain regions and areas with, surge testing and all the stuff that you've read about in Britain and other countries. But I'd be surprised if it doesn't take hold. Now, vaccination-wise, the good news is, I think throughout June, the number of people vaccinated here per day has more or less exceeded Britain virtually every day. So they're really rocketing through it. But of course, that was from a slower start. So there are still less people double vaccinated here than there are in Britain. And that, of course, has implications. It certainly will have implications with the Delta variant. I read yesterday that 2 people, I think in the Jers district region, had died with the Delta variant, and neither were vaccinated. So there is a huge attempt to really push on with the vaccine program here. Richard went to the vaccination centre this week. He said there was huge queues. So I think despite the fact that many French people have displayed vaccine hesitancy and said in public they're not going to get it done, I think there's a bit of a feeling that people are saying one thing and doing another, particularly because they're realising that if you don't, there will be many events and travel will not be available to you, because this week the EU COVID passport has really taken off, and you can put your 2 vaccination QR codes in, and it's then on your mobile phone, and that will allow you to go to sports events, pop concerts, that kind of thing. So I think people are realising that even if they didn't fancy the vaccine, it's going to severely restrict what they do. So that's the situation. You still legally can come in from the UK. From America, you've got no problem whatsoever. And I did notice in the last few days an awful lot more American voices around. I've just been in Nice, obviously, and there were American voices there. There's definitely a lot more tourists around than there were. Still very few British, and that, of course, is entirely because of the vaccine, the quarantine situation back home. We won't go over that again, but I have a feeling that'll change too on July the 19th. Though who knows, Matt Hancock might be too busy to, change the thing. He's got his hands full, hasn't he? And that is it's an onerous job looking after Mr. Boner's wife. Ooh, it's a dog-themed vlog today, have you noticed? So anyway, that's the situation. Right now, nothing has changed, but what I said to you last week that I feared might happen, I still fear might happen. I think if anything, it's got more likely as this week has gone on. Anyway, don't forget to hit the button and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell to make sure you get notifications, because we've got a fantastic vlog coming up in the middle of the week all about our wonderful dog photographer. And you know what? That video I keep promising you about on Teeb, I'm going to bung that out too. I know, it's non-stop, this channel. Have a lovely week, everyone, and I shall speak to you very, very soon. Take care.